And this is Hollywood. This is KTLA, but before that it was the Warner Brothers Studios. Bought it. Checking also, Warner Brothers also was bought out the Vitagraph. It was the whole of Let's Make a Deal. Come on, Hollywooders, we're gonna walk this way. Now, KTLA is the oldest television station west of the Mississippi. This is what's located across the street. This is what's called East Hollywood. Kobe. Also known as the Sunset Bronson Studios. Used to sit here many a day. This tower used to sit at this corner. Now part of the Netflix Studios. But this all was part of the Bronson KTLA Studios. They're trying to bring studios back into Hollywood. It's still the Sunset Bronson Studios. There used to be a Denny's that sat there for years and years. Now this here is a new sign. It says right down there, the tower used to be right here. It's the Sunset Bronson Studios, Netflix, KTLA 5, Hudson Pacific Properties. Straight over that way. Straight over there. Straight there. Used to be the old Fox Studios. Joan Rivers filmed there. Was there backstage several times. It's now the Helen Bernstein High School. You can kind of walk around the block right here.
As you can see, the KTLA tower, which is the oldest television station west of the Mississippi, and the tower is sitting right there where the Hudson property sign is. The tower sat right there at the corner of Van Ness and Sunset.
Look over here.
The Old Warner Studios, officially called the Sunset Bronson Studios, formerly known as KTLA Studios and Tribune Studios, is a motion picture, radio, and television production facility located on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. The studio was the site where the first talking feature film, The Jazz Singer, was filmed in 1927. It's 5800 Sunset Boulevard, and it was built in 1923. The architectural style was Classic Revival. It was originally built in 1919. The main building fronting Sunset Boulevard was the site of the bowling alley during the 1940s and 50s. In the mid-1950s, the studio lot was divided into two between KTLA Television and Paramount Pictures. In 1963, the entire lot was taken over by the new owner Gene Autry as KTLA Studios and became the home of KTLA Television Golden West Broadcasters. In 1984, the lot was purchased by Tribune Company as Tribune Studios before finally coming under the ownership of Hudson Pacific Properties as Sunset Bronson Studios in 2008. Due to its role in the history of the motion picture business, the site was designated as a historical cultural landmark in LAHCIM 1977. Distinct executive office building, part of Warner Brothers' original studio lot, was listed on the National Register of Historical Places in 2002. Warner Brothers Studios facilities at 5800 Sunset Boulevard was first built in 1919. In the early 1920s, the facilities was acquired by Warner Brothers and served as the company's executive offices and principal studios during the 1920s. In 1923, the Western Motion Pictures Advertisers Association held its WAMPAS Frolic at the new Warner Brothers Studios on Sunset Boulevard with a great aggression of film luminaries present. At the time, the studio was 350 square feet, 110 meters long, and 200 feet, 61 meters wide, making it the largest covered over stage in the world. The site has been recognized as a historic site in a large part due to its having been the location where the first talking feature-length motion picture, The Jazz Singer, was filmed in 1927. It was also the studio for radio station KFWB in its early years as Warner Brothers Los Angeles radio station. In 1980, Warner Bros. Announced the consolidation of its executive offices with the First National Pictures, with the executive office being moved from the Sunset Boulevard studio to the First National Studios in Burbank, California. Warner Bros. Also began moving its filmings to the Burbank studios in 1930 and 31. So the Sunset Boulevard studios remained in active use during the 1930s, both the motion picture filming and phonograph recordings. Even after the move to Burbank, Warner Brothers continued to film motion pictures at its Sunset Boulevard studios in the 1930s. Warner's classic Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons were also produced at the Sunset Studios. Facilities from the 1933 to 1955. In 1933, the Los Angeles Times reported that Warner Brothers, contrary to the popular view, is keeping the Sunset Boulevard studio in active use, with a company or two shooting there each day, and also is using the old Vitagraph plant. In December 1934, a fire destroyed 15 acres of the Warner Brothers studios in Burbank, forcing the company to put the Sunset Boulevard studios back into full use. At the time of the fire, Jack L. Warner noted, "We have ample facilities at Sunset Boulevard studio to take care of the immediate mechanical and constructional requirements." By 1935, film historians were already noting the loss of the industry's early studio facilities, many of which had become ghost towns, but the Warner Brothers Sunset Studios was still running at full production. Warner Brothers Studios on Sunset Boulevard is far from dead. Probably more shooting is done there than any other First National plant, Warner's observed. There are 4 modern stages there, but the ghost stage is the one which history was made. Stage 3, of which the first all-talking picture was made. It is a small stage, though, and settlement except
Bronson Studios.
as it applied to relatives who have to be on the payroll or else supported some other way. It has very little to do with making pictures. A bowling alley and sports center. However, in 1937, Warner Bros. Closed the Sunset Boulevard studio, and the property had been converted into a bowling alley and sports center. The Los Angeles Times reported the conversion of the historic studio as follows. Note on the passing of an heir, a painted sign hung over the front door is to indicate that the Warner Brothers Sunset Studio is no more. The birthplace of the Vitaphone is a sports center, and Stage 1, where many of the first talkies retched their way into being, is a battery of badminton courts. Paramount and KTLA television studios. In 1954, the Sunset Bronson Studios resumed its association with the entertainment business as television pioneer. Claus Landsberg, vice president of Paramount Television Productions and general manager of KTLA, the first commercial station west of the Mississippi, acquired the 10-acre, 40,000 square foot meter site as the future home of Paramount Television Productions. Paramount undertook a $2 million reconstruction program
was over here
at the site. As part of the reconstruction program in 1955, Paramount razed the older building at the studio. The Los Angeles Times noted at the time the birthplace of the talkies is disappearing into dust in Hollywood. Demolition crews are raising the older buildings of the Warner Brothers Sunset Studio, where the nasal voice of Al Jolson recorded on Vitaphone first made talking pictures a commercial reality. The old executive offices building and large antenna, which years displayed the world's Warner Brothers Vitaphone, were preserved. However, the old theater where Warner Brothers executives watched screenings of the studio's latest works were destroyed. There have been conflicting reports as whether the soundstage on which the jazz singer was filmed was raised in the process, as noted below. A 1977 newspaper report suggests that the building still exists at the time. At the clause, Landsberg noted that the
Bronson High School, the former
older
Fox
buildings,
Studios.
including
Did you know
the
that?
historic Stage
The
1,
former Fox
are being
Studios.
destroyed. The newer facilities on the Big Lot are being renovated and reconditioned for the television operations. In 1967, Gene Autry and his company Golden West Broadcasters acquired the old studio property from Paramount for $5 million. Golden West had previously acquired KTLA and had been leasing the space for Paramount. In 1977, a celebration was held in Hollywood marking the 50th anniversary of the talkie motion picture. A parade of old cars, including Model T and Model A, moved down Sunset Boulevard, ending at the KTLA studios where the jazz singer had been filmed 50 years earlier. The United States
But this is what they do to old Hollywood.
Sunset Bronson Studios. In 2001, the Tribune Entertainment Company, then owner of the site, announced plans to overhaul the Sunset Boulevard studio facility, transforming it into the nation's first fully digital studio lot at a cost between $10 million and $20 million. In January 2008, Tribune Entertainment sold the studios to Hudson Capital LLC, now Hudson Pacific Properties, for $125 million. At the time of 2008 transition, productions at the studio facility included television series Judge Judy 1996 to 2021, Judge Joe Brown 1998 to 2003, Divorce Court 99 to present, Hannah Montana 2008 to 2011, 2007 2008. The Tribune Studios was then renamed Sunset Bronson Studios and became co-owned with nearby Sunset Gower Studios, the former Columbia Picture Studio lot. Hudson Pacific announced in 2014 plans to build a 14-story office tower next door to the landmark executive office building. This cast-in-place canopied structure was designed by Ginsler and built by McCarthy Building Companies Incorporated. This anchors the expansion of Sunset Bronson Studios that also includes a 1,600 square space parking structure and a 5-story, 90,000 square foot production building. The new office tower holds production offices and Netflix. Netflix also now occupies most of the studio lots, soundstage for content production. KTLA moved into the site and added KTL5 to the tower, which the tower's visibility from the Hollywood freeway. It was a notably landmark for over 60 years.
Stage 5. Stage 4. Stage 2.
The stage one was where the first talkie was filmed for the movie The Jazz Singer with Jolsen.
This is the view of the tower from the Bronson side. Television station west of the Mississippi.